All right, so can you hear me now? Is it clear? Yes, so good afternoon. So will you please greet each one by just waving your hand? Ayan. Kasi you cannot speak because we're not here because you are in a mute mode. But by waving, we can say hi or hello to everyone. So how are you? Plus, good? Health is okay? Yes, very nice. Some especially are at home and we're still, not allowed to go out. I hope you are all safe. And this afternoon we'll have our science class. And I asked you to review because we'll have some, some quiz, like 5 question about our previous lesson in science about plant reproduction. Okay, but before we continue, may I ask first what is your viand a while ago during lunch? Yes, Abang.
Sinigang.
Sinigang. So yes, very nice. The same. I also ate sinigang a while ago during lunch. Now, um, how about you, Dana?
Chicken adobo.
Wow, nice. So it sounds so delicious. Parang gusto ko ulit kumain because of the adobo. How about Santara?
Fried chicken.
Nice. Okay, so more on chicken, no? Adobo. I mean, more on, you know, I believe yung adobo ni Dana parang it's either pork or what do you call this? Chicken also, right? Pero at this time, I believe narinig niyo sa parents ninyo the commodities or fish fillet kay Anika that some of your parents maybe they are complaining already because of the higher price of commodities, right? I mean, right? When they go to the market, especially when they want to buy some meat, some pork or chicken, definitely they are like need more budget for that, even for vegetables. So I'm asking this one, what is survived a while ago, because we want here class to connect our discussion when we are like discussing plants. So definitely it is related to, you know, to veggies, to vegetables, to fruits, and we usually eat them. Okay? And since we are serving them sa ating mga tables during meals, so we need to understand more about these plants, how they reproduce, how um, what group is that belong, anong kingdom ba sila? Definitely kingdom Plantae. But then what I mean is, are they Angiosperms, Gymnosperms? We need to know more about these plants. Okay? Especially sa sinigang. Ano yung halo ng sinigang na kinain mo? Ano? Iab-abam. So, what are the veggies that you include? Ah, nandiyan pa ba si Abam? Wala. Na-disconnect. Okay. So, usually, di ba may kangkong? So how kangkong is being planted, how to reproduce kangkong. Minsan may sitaw. How about sitaw? So diba it's through seeds, right? How about ano pa ba yung hinahalo sa sinigang? Mia, ano pa yung hinahalo sa sinigang? What else?
Okra.
Yes, okra also. You can actually include okra, and that is still what you can plant okra through seeds. You get it? So we need to know more. That is why this afternoon, after the exam, we are going to, oh yeah, that's correct, radish. We are going to explore more. What if what do we call other plants without seeds? and definitely we cannot use other parts of their body in order for them to reproduce. What do we call them? How they are reproducing? Kasi there are other plants aside from for our class, medyo na ano lang yung charger ko. Aside from those that we have discussed. Okay, so later we're going to know. But let's answer first the following questions. Please um, do it now. Pag pinasa ko after I put it, put this one sa inyong GC. Open immediately. I'll give you 5 minutes to answer first this one. And medyo mabagal lang class ang aking ano ngayon command kasi nga yun. Did you receive it na? Not yet.
Opo.
Alright, so please open it. Give feedback. If you can or cannot open the link. And go.
Na-open ko. Open ko.
Okay, so go, you start answering now. Will you please write your name first? First name and last name only. It's okay. And then just tick the answer. Not the letter pala class kasi there's no letter. But just tick the answer. Anyway, there are 4 choices.
Dana po ako.
Somebody got zero. Okay, we'll check. Only one got 5. Okay, very good. So Aimer got 5. Yeah, give applause. Hindi narinig. Very good. That's an excellent job for getting a perfect score for this task or for this quiz. Now, let me present that one. Okay. For this question, number 1, Isa saw a butterfly fluttering around the flowers. What is the essence of butterfly in pollination? Okay, so very clear in question. What is the essence of butterfly in pollination? So definitely, since you are being asked the importance of butterfly in pollination, kailangan the thought or the idea is still nakapaloob dun sa pollination. So if you're going to answer sips nectar and collects for supply of honey in the market, ang layo nun. It's a very...
Palabok ha, para sa birthday ni Ina. Tsaka ng carbonara.
Okay.
Babalik agad ako. Bibili ako ng isang maliit na palabok, merienda natin. Tsaka hash brown. Ha?
What's that? Aba. Alright, let's continue. So sipping nectar, collecting for supply is very far from the sense of when we talk about pollination. And then, the next is transfers the pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a flower. That's the correct answer. It transfers the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. So, diba, that's the definition of pollination. Okay? And then, parang may nagsagot pa ng pangatlo, collects pollen grains and uses for living. No. And then may nagsagot pa ng pang-apat, transfer pollen grains to another flowers. You can say that, but not so specific compared to letter B or compared to second option. Did you get it? So you need to be very specific. Saan itina-transfer? From anther to the stigma. Okay, next question. So Rolly wants to... For a while. Okay, Rolly wants to grow a mango tree since he really likes to eat mango. So what is true about growing mango? So, or Not growing mango, about mango na lang class kung ano. Kasi the first option is you can plant mango tree using its different parts. So may nagsagot niyan. Different parts? So ibig sabihin kaya mo magtanim using the leaf? Or using the stem? Or using the root? Kasi you answered letter A or option A, option 1. And then the second is mango can reproduce sexually. That's the correct answer. Because definitely, because there's a male and female structure sa flower ng mango, that's why that is sexually reproduce. And then the third is mango seeds only, mango needs only one parent to reproduce. Definitely no. Pero may nagsagot niyan, letter C. And may nagsagot pa nga ng all of the above. Okay? So no, hindi yun lahat tama. Ang tama lang dyan is mango can reproduce sexually. Next, number 3. Which of the following does not belong to the group? If you really study what I asked you to study, kung nasa book, sasagutan nyo yan. Do you think, which of the following does not belong to the group? Anyone? Yes, Jaisley.
Monggo.
Yes. Why? Because mongo, that is through seed. Buto siya. Sweet potato, no, that is asexual. That is natural vegetative reproduction or propagation. Onion, same. That is natural vegetative propagation, meaning asexually. Garlic, the same. That is natural vegetative reproduction. So, ang naiiba lang sa apat na yan is yung mongo kasi that is through seed. Did you get it? So, what do we call sweet potato? Meron din tayong lesson yan last time. And I ask you to read that there. Kung ano yung klaseng natural vegetative for sweet potato, onion, and garlic. Okay? Next, number 4. Cutting, layering, and grafting in plants. Bakit ba in plants yung nakalagay dyan? But definitely that's in plants. Are belong to. So cutting, layering, and grafting in plants are belong to. Okay, definitely may nakakuha nito kasi may naka-perfect. Sige nga, Mia, what is your answer? Mia, what is your answer there? I cannot hear you. Yes, Santara?
Artificial vegetative propagation.
That is correct. So that is artificial vegetative propagation. Did you get it? Because the natural vegetative are the tubers, kung naaalala nyo. Okay? Did you still remember? That is natural vegetative propagation. So we are talking about artificial when we talk about cutting, layering, and grafting in plants. Okay, next. Number 5. So dito may nagkamali pa rin, which is not true. So ibig sabihin, false. Kasi nga not true. So plants have male and female structure. May nagsagot niya. May nagsagot niyang option 1. So kung not true yan, ano na yung true? Kung hindi true yung plants have male and female structure. And then, plants can reproduce asexually. Yeah, tama naman, can reproduce asexually. And then stem is the most important part of the plants in order to reproduce. That's wrong. Hindi siya yung most important. Bees and other insects are agent of pollination. So, correct din yun. Okay? Those are agents of pollination. So, that's it. So, that's the answer to the questions. And majority got, so kung yung average ko, most got, may nakakuha nga ng 0 eh. Is it hard? Is it hard? Ayan, may nakakuha. 2. So, isa nga lang nakakuha ng 5. It's Inger Annie. Alright. Class, please give feedback if I'm not okay sa connection kasi nakalagay dito I am offline pero I believe hindi naman ako offline. Okay. Hindi naman, no? Okay. So for a while, naglo-loading lang class. So, pipitin natin. Kasi I'm using Google Slide. Medyo mabagal. Okay. Few minutes. Okay, yan na. Okay, on the slide, you can see there the plant kingdom. So please take note of this one. So I said not all plants can reproduce through seeds. Okay, some other plants have different classifications. So the group where we can say that it can actually reproduce through seeds or sexually are those flowering plants. And the term that we use for that is angiosperms. So take note of the term Angiosperms. That is angiosperms. It means the world of what? Plants with flowers. And then we have what we call the gymnosperms. It means it is the group of conifers. So another plants that reproduce not due to their seeds. So it's through their conifers, just like pine trees. You get it? And then we have another group, which is the ferns. Ferns. Yung nakikita natin sa may river. Sino nakakita na noon? Mga fern. Yun. Kung nakapunta kayo ng mga rivers, sa Amadayo maraming nakikita niyan kasi I believe yung ating place is still, cold and then may mga ano pa tayo, may mga rivers pa tayo. within our locality. And then we have the mosses and the liverworts, yung tumutubo sa may mga bato, yung mga lumot, yung green na yan, that's another kingdom, another group of plants na tumutubo naman through the rocks. Nag-reproduce sila hindi dahil sa flowers, hindi dahil sa seeds. Okay? So that is mosses and liverworts. So that's how we see the plant kingdom. Okay? Ibig sabihin, kung yung nakikita natin is more on angiosperms and flowering plants, hindi pa yun yung world ng plants. There are bigger world for plants. Do you get my point? Okay. Now let's proceed to this one. You're going to answer this later after the class, the learning task 1. So what are you going to do with this one? Observe your surrounding and then list down the plants that possess the given description below on monocot and dicot. So this is a kind of seed. Ang seed kasi class, pwede siya maging monocot or dicot. Now, bakit ko nilagay ito? Hindi naman to yung pinaka-main point ng lesson natin. Kasi this is an additional details or information when regards or when it comes to plants. Paano nyo malalaman na monocot ang isang plant? Paano nyo malalaman na dicot? So by looking at their characteristics, let's say for example, you can actually identify through their roots. So if you're going to take a look sa roots, so it's 5 roots and then top for dicot. And then we have vascular for monocot and ringed for dicot. And then the leaf, there's also there are also differences when it comes to leaf. You know, it is actually parallel veins if it is monocot, and then we have net-like veins if it is dicot. And then for flowers, how can we identify if they are monocot or dicot? So if it is multiples of 3, that is monocot. So pag tumingin kayo ng mga flowers at nakita niyo yung flowers na multiples of 3, that is monocot. 3, 6, something like that. And then if it is 4 or 5, that is dicot. Do you get it? So that is the difference between monocot and dicot. Now, you are going to identify or list down at least 5 each. 5 for monocot plants and 5 for dicot plants. Later after the class. This is for learning task number 1. You can actually go over your house. Tingnan niyo yung mga flowers. Kung ano yung leaves niya. Kapareho ba siya ng parallel veins? Then, if it is similar to that one, that is monocot. But if not, it is net-like veins, that is dicot. Okay? Hindi nyo naman pwedeng tingnan yung roots kasi alam ng ano ninyo, tawag doon, bunutin nyo yung plants. You cannot do that. Definitely, you're going to take a look sa kanilang leaf or leaves and flowers. Doon nyo malalaman if they are monocot or dicot. Is it clear? Yes? All right. You can actually copy this one or you can refer to your module kasi this is also available sa module. Nakalagay din yan. Now, let's continue. So, when you see like this picture, what comes to your mind? One word. Give one. What is this? What is that one? Yes, Aliyah.
Surroundings.
Yes, that can be a surroundings. What else? Kia? Oh, nag-left si Kia. Yes, raise your hand if you want to answer. Oh, okay, Sophia, go.
Nature.
Nature. Okay, well, surrounding nature. What else? One word. Some more? Carl? I hear you raising your hand. Carl? No? Amer?
Environment.
Environment. Yes. So I'll accept all your answers. We have environment, surroundings, and nature. So you're all correct. And when we talk about nature, environment, and surroundings, just like what we are seeing now in front of us, there are actually class biotic and abiotic factors or living and non-living organisms that are present in that environment. So we have, will you please name at least Um, some of the living organisms that you can see on the picture, living organisms. Yes, raise your hand if you want to answer. Bella,
Yes, sir.
yes, Mia, parang hindi ko narinig. Yes, Hannah,
Trees.
trees, living organism. That is correct. So definitely trees are still plants, member of the kingdom, plant kingdom. Okay, so it means they are alive, they are living. That's correct. How about, yes, another, Sophia, go.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Now, we can easily identify the living organisms. How about the non-living things or the non-living organisms that we can see there? Actually, this is a review. I believe you have a lesson, previous grade about the living and non-living organisms. Will you please give some? Yes. Hindi ko makita yung iba class for a while. Kung nagtataas ba or what. Sige, pakiano nga, click nyo nga yung raise hand pag gusto nyo. Eman. Eman.
Rocks.
Rocks. Okay, correct. How about Diana?
Log.
Okay, log. Kasi yung log is definitely possible, ano na siya, no roots at all. So, nakatumba na possible. Okay, so these are the living and unliving organisms. And we knew that when we talk about nature, surroundings, environment, and it has the living and unliving organisms, we are talking about the ecology or the ecosystem. And there is what we call the interaction within there. When we say interaction, they need each other. They are interacting. So for example, for frogs to survive, okay, they need to eat flies or insects available there sa ecosystem. For snakes to survive, they need to eat frogs. You get my point? So there is interaction in the ecosystem or ecology. So it needs water because definitely animals need to drink. Okay. Animals need trees for what? For the oxygen. Definitely they cannot breathe without the plants or trees. And giving back, definitely the animals will give off also carbon dioxide that will be utilized by plants for them to survive. So it means this is the interaction within the ecosystem. And we knew that there are different ecosystem. It can be like what you see in landform or forest, diba? Or lakes or swamps. It can be ecosystem class can be actually this one underwater, okay, under the sea. That's another ecosystem. Or it can be a log ecosystem. Katulad ng minention about a while ago ni Diana, kahit patay na yung log, pwede pa siyang maging ecosystem. Kasi pwedeng manirahan doon yung ants. Ants may live there or the mushrooms may actually grow there. And other organisms, moss, katulad kanina, yung mga lumot, pwede silang tumubo dyan. And they are interacting with each other. So when we talk about ecosystem, there's interaction. Okay? And take note, there are different kingdoms available or present there. Ano yung mga kingdom na nandyan? Yung plant kingdom nandyan. Animal kingdom. And as you go on with your studies, pag nag-high school kayo, sa biology class, iti-discuss nyo doon class yung other kingdoms, katulad ng mga fungi. Kasi may kingdom din. May fungi din na available dyan, meron din. Okay? And definitely other kingdoms. Pero ngayon, since we are still in 5th grade, we'll focus first on animals and plants. Okay? Plant kingdom, animal kingdom. And we are now in plant kingdom. But nagbibigay lang ako ng clue that there are more. Okay? Now, this afternoon, I'm going to present two ecosystems that may not familiar to you, but really existing. And that is the estuary and the intertidal zone. What are those? Other ecosystems, estuary, and the intertidal zone. Okay, so is it new to you? Yes or no? It sounds like new to you. So we are going to explore estuary or the intertidal zone. So will you please take notes, or just in case may ipapakita akong video class, pwede nyo tandaan nyo yung ibang terms kasi itatanong ko sa inyo after the video playing. Okay? So let's continue. Okay, this is an estuary. Okay. So may river, and then may tidal inlet, may ocean, may that's the marsh, or there's a fresh, if you're going to take a look, mayroong fresh water and then may salt water. Now, we are going to identify what is, or to know more about this estuary by looking at this video. So, saka tayo class mag question and answer after watching this video. I hope mag-play siya ng maayos.
In this video, I'd like to talk about ecosystem.
Okay. I believe ayaw niya mag-play ng maayos, no? Garalgal? Okay. So, ayaw niya nga. So, what we're going to do now, if ayaw niya mag-play, kasi siguro class due to the poor connection, kasi pag ganitong time.
Called estuary. An estuary
Okay, since it's not playing well, so pwede kong isa na lang class yung link through the GC, pwede nyo panoorin doon. But we need to continue. Okay? So ipa-flash ko na lang ulit yung aking slide doon. Okay. So going back sa ating slide, so we have there, if you can see, there's a fresh water and then the salt water. Okay. So in this way or manner, we can understand what is estuary. Ayan. So this is the definition. Okay, take note. An estuary is formed where rivers meet the sea. Or, in other words, the fresh water meets the salt water. You get my point? So it's the portion where the salt water and the fresh water meets, or the river and the sea meets. That's the area. So if you're going to look back, ayan. So just like the marsh. So nagmi-meet doon yung fresh water and definitely the salt water. Okay. Do you know what, class? This area are called actually the nursery of the ocean. Bakit? Diyan na nabubuhay yung many different kinds of living organisms, animals, or even plants. Okay? So another is an estuary is a semi-enclosed river mouth or bay where salty seawater is diluted by fresh water from rivers and creeks. So an estuary is made up of tidal marshes, tidal floods, and open water channels. And then it is flooded by tides. So it means that since this is an area where the fresh water and the salt water meets, so maybe you're asking, are there living organisms living there? Actually, yes. Several, or mas madami pa, class, compared doon sa rivers. Bakit? The area is very susceptible or very good for survival of different kinds of species, living species. So it means that is why it is called the nurseries of the ocean kasi marami ditong pwedeng mabuhay na living organisms. Okay? Pwede kayo actually mag-research sa inyong book or pwede nyo siyang basahin. Dapat kasi class makikita nyo sa video but then I cannot play it because garalgal hindi nyo naman maintindihan ng maayos. Okay? But if you're going to open your book, that is on page 156. Ayan. So in the Philippines, there are actually several estuaries. I believe some of you already visited an estuary. Sino dito yung nagpunta ng beach? Tapos nakakita ng parang, ayan, si Sofia nakapunta na. Ayan. Ang dami. Si Elia, and then si Bella. Yeah, many of you have been there. Now, nakakita na ba kayo, class, nung portion kung saan nagmi-meet yung ocean and river? Have you seen that? Sino nakakita na nun? Yung parang mayroong part na nagmi-meet yung river and then nagmi-meet yung ocean. That is estuary. Do you get it? That is estuary. So hindi siya pwedeng tawaging ocean, hindi rin pwedeng river. Kasi yung tubig na nandun is a combination of salt water and fresh water. And we will call that the estuary. Just like the Puerto Princesa underground river. So definitely that is famous kasi kaya yun ang in-example ko that is located in Palawan. So ang daming nabubuhay doon. This is productive environment. Take note of that on Earth. Okay? Creating more organic matter every year. So when we say most productive, ibig sabihin on top siya of the line. Okay? On top siya nung kanyang mga kalaban. And full also of decaying animals. Bakit, class? Ito yung nagiging filter. Take note of the word. This serves as the filter. Ano yung i-filter niya? The rubbish or the garbage coming from highlands na pababa siya ng ocean. Mafi-filter doon para hindi tumuloy-tuloy sa ocean. You get my point? Now, if this serves as filter, definitely, kung tayo ay magtatapon ng sobrang daming basura sa land area, so ano mangyayari sa estuary? Definitely, maiipon doon yung basura. So baka makain siya ng mga animals na nakatira doon. Kaya we are so responsible as human beings, meron tayong part na gagampanan sa pag-aalaga ng estuary kahit hindi tayo nakatira malapit sa dagat. You get my point? Kasi kahit yung basura natin, pag bumaha sa area natin, saan dadalhin yun ng tubig ulan? Sa river. Ngayon, yung tubig sa river, saan papunta? Sa ocean. O saan dadaan nyo na yun? Saan dadaan ba bago makarating ng ocean? Sa estuary. Sa estuary, there are several plants and animals. Paano kung nakakain na nila yung basura? And they cannot survive because of that, abundance of like rubbish or garbage being thrown by people. So definitely, it will affect the living organisms present in estuaries. You get my point? So, actually class, pinakamaraming migratory birds ang nakatira dito sa estuary. Dapat sa video na mapapanood nyo, nandun siya. Kaya lang later, isasend ko sa inyong chat, makikita nyo class yung content ng estuary. And you can still watch videos about estuaries. Okay? Actually, class, there are major types of estuaries, pero hindi ko na masyadong i-mention yun. Yung different types. We have the coastal plain, the delta, the bar belt, the tectonic, and the Jord estuaries. So, hindi ko na siya masyadong i-mention kasi ang important thing lang dito, class, na makita natin is to explain what is estuary, to describe it, and definitely, we can describe that by citing that this is an area where the fresh water and the salt water meets. And there are many living things or organisms living there, or living in estuaries. Okay? So, that is the estuarine ecosystem or the estuary. Ayan. This one. Ayan. Okay, next, we have another area aside from estuary, that is very important also. Okay. Do you know what, class? Sino na dito yung naka-try maglaba using a washing machine? Yes. This next, very good. So marami na naka-experience ng paglalaba using washing machine. So maiko-compare kasi natin, class, yung susunod na ecosystem sa washing machine. Okay? How? So paano nyo po siya maiko-compare sa washing machine? This one. Ayan. This is another ecosystem. And this ecosystem, we will call that the intertidal zone. Now, take note of the word tidal. Tide. Saan nagkakaroon ng tide? Sa paglalaba? Saan nagkakaroon ng tide? Anyone? Kasi there's a root word there. Intertidal zone. So there is tide. So saan nagkakaroon ng tide? Hindi porket nagsabi ko class ng washing machine, yun yung sabon na gagamitin natin. No. Saan madalas nagkakaroon ng tide? Sige nga, yung mga nakapunta ng beach, saan nagkakaroon ng tide? Yes, Aliyah.
Tabing dagat po.
Yes, that's correct. Sa seashores or like tabing dagat. And we can locate the intertidal zone right there. Dun mismo. Okay? So it means there's an area na nagmimit naman, kung kanina sa estuary nagmimit yung salt water saka fresh water, this time, ang intertidal zone, nagmimit naman, class, yung land and water. At sumasalpok yung water sa land. Kaya nga parang washing machine. So do you think, dun ba sa mga area na sumasalpok yung waves, or the waves are like, hitting the land area, do you think there are living organisms that can survive there? Yes or no? Yes or no? Sige nga, thumbs up kung yes, may nagsusurvive na living organism sa intertidal zone. Or no, kung walang nagsusurvive. Do you think? Kasi just i-compare nga siya class sa washing machine na ganun kabilis yung ikot ng tubig dun sa area na yan. Kasi nga, imagine, waves and land. So, sasalpok yung waves dun sa land. So, just like a washing machine, paikot-ikot. So, do you think? Meron kaya magsusurvive? Our animals are capable of surviving in that kind of area? Anyone? Raise your hand if you want to answer. Yes, Amer?
No.
No. So, that is your opinion. So, hindi ko, you are not being judged here kasi hindi ko pa naman na-discuss. But after discussion, so dapat magkaroon na kayo ng final answer if it is yes or no. You get my point? Now, so, actually class, in that area, we can imagine na dahil nga sa parang it's compared. Yes, Roshana? Do you want to share? Yes?
Yes, because internal zones of rocky shoreline host sea stars, snails, seaweed, eagle, and crabs.
Very good. So, but I'm not still finalizing your answer if it is yes or no. So later pa ha. Pero those who answered no or yes, so as of now, i-accept ko muna. But later, we will finalize ano ba talaga? Meron ba talagang nakatira o wala sa intertidal zone? Kasi sa estuary, madami. There are several living organisms that are actually living there. And that area is very rich when it comes to living organisms, animals, migratory birds, plants. How about in intertidal zone? Kasi it is compared to washing machine. So, actually, class, there are, yes, living organisms that can survive in the intertidal zone. Just like what Roshana shared a while ago. Okay? There are several. Actually, there are families of crabs that can survive there. So, you try to examine class. So kung magsiswimming kayo this coming summer, pwede kayong pumunta sa beach or pumunta dun sa area na may intertidal zone. I-examine niyo may mga butas yung bato. May mga butas, may mga hole. Bakit? Kapag nandiyan na yung alon, anong gagawin ng mga crabs at ng mga organisms? Doon sila magtatago para hindi sila ma-splash ng waves. Okay? Kaya, try to observe. Try to go there. Dapat kasi class mapapanood nyo yun sa video na ipa-flash ko. Kaya lang, I really cannot share it now. I cannot share it now. So, later, makikita nyo yan. So, definitely, ganun yung buhay nila doon. Mahirap kasi there are times wala. Pag low tide, walang waves. So, okay lang. Pero pag high tide, ayan, takbuhan sila ngayon, yung mga animals. They are trying to hide sa mga holes na nasa bato for them to survive. Because life in intertidal zone is not easy. Okay? Imagine, kung sobrang lalakas ng waves, katulad nito class, oh, ayan, sorry. This one, oh. Yung area na yan. Diba, just like that one, nag-meet yung seawater saka yung land area. Yung mabatong area, meeting. Diba dyan yung nakikita natin na yung alon nag-splash talaga ng malalakas? But there are living organisms living there. Yung na nga lang nakikita yung green, oh, living organism yan. Moss. Yan sa bato. They can survive. Kaya nga, pag nadudulas kayo, it's because of the mosses na present there. Diba? Madulas. Kaya ang ginagawa natin, tinatanggal natin yan pag nasa bahay. Yung sa may labahang area natin, di ba may tumutubong mga green? Oh, living organisms yun, class. We can actually mag-cause siya ng accident kasi pwede tayong mag-slide doon. So what is intertidal? Also known as the littoral zone, the area between the high water mark and the low water mark, where the land meets the ocean. So madali lang i-describe, di ba? Kasi the estuary, where the seawater meets the fresh water. Pag intertidal, where the land meets the ocean. Sometimes dry, sometimes wet, just like what you see on the picture. Oh, nakakapamasyal yung mga bata doon kasi wet or dry. Kasi wala pang waves kasi low tide. Remember, in a day, merong low tide and high tide. So definitely, yung buhay ng mga nakatira sa intertidal zone is may dalawang klase. Dry, if it is low tide, so they can roam around, they can actually get some food, while during high tide, they cannot do that because the waves are keep on splashing and hitting the land area. Kaya hindi sila makaka-survive. Okay? And meron din tayong different kinds of different kinds of intertidal zone that we can actually see sa ating book. Ayan. Now, you have task number 1 a while ago. Ngayon naman, magkakaroon kayo ng task number 2 for this lesson. So what are you going to do? Okay, so definitely class, ang gagawin ninyo is you're going to list down. Okay. List down the animals that you can find in the estuary and intertidal zone. So as many as you can, ililista nyo lahat. Lahat ng pwede kong makitang animals, you can actually research using your books or using our friend Google. Pwede nyo rin siyang hanapin doon. So our friend Google is just right there. Yeah, and then write all the animals and plants that you can find in estuary and intertidal zone. Take note, as many as you can. It means hindi siya class malilimitahan kasi there are several. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang daming kayang mabuhay sa estuary. So it means you can list more animals and more plants living there. Also in intertidal zone. Okay? Pwede nyo siyang tingnan sa book. Meron din nakalagay doon kung ano yung mga nagso-survive sa intertidal zone. Okay? So, There are several also. So you're going to write that on your notebook. So kailangan naka-ano siya naka-table siya. For example, animals and plants that we can find in estuary. So dalawang column. Dito, animals sa kabila. Dito sa kabila is plants. Another table, table 2, animals and plants that we can find in intertidal zone. So may dalawang column din. One is for plants and one for animals. Okay? So take note, these are the two ecosystems that we have in nature, in our environment. So try to look for this one pag nag-visit kayo one day sa mga beaches, nag-outing kayo, class, excursion ang tawag, or namasyal, or you go somewhere na may beach. So pwede nyo hanapin yung Intertidal Zone and the estuary. Yes. So, okay, we are done with our discussion about the estuary and intertidal zone. Okay, now, will you please try to describe what is an estuary? What is an estuary? Try to describe based from our discussion. Yes. Yes, Dana.
When the freshwater and saltwater meets.
Yes. Very good. Where the saltwater and the freshwater meets. Okay. What else, Sophia?
Estuary is made up of tidal marshes, tidal flats, and open water channels.
Yes. So marshes, actually just there are different terms also being used, but all of these terms are referred naman to, yes, to estuary. Some more? Yes, yes. Marius, can you hear me? Toby is raising. Yes, Toby.
An estuary is formed where rivers meet the sea.
Yes. So another definition, river meets the sea. Okay. That is actually, class, when I am visiting an ocean or a seas, or I'm going like somewhere sa mga beaches. Isa yan sa hinahanap ko, yung mga estuary. Kasi I really want to, encounter different kinds of animals na pwedeng makita doon. Most probably, mang dami kong nakikitang migratory birds and other animals. Kaya lang, there are times na nagiging polluted. Kasi nga, sobrang dami ng basura sa rivers, tinatangay siya papunta doon sa estuary. Okay? Some more description about estuary. Yes, Diana.
An estuary is flooded by the tide.
Okay, yes. That is correct. So, how about the intertidal zone? Intertidal zone. What can you say about the intertidal zone? Yes, Percy.
Sometimes dry, sometimes wet.
Okay, correct. Yes, what else? Angelica, are you there? Can you hear me, Angelica? Yes, Angelica, will you please speak and share your thoughts about, or how will you describe intertidal zone? If not Angelica, how about Amika? Are you there? Hey. Hey. How about Roshena?
Area when ocean meets the land between high and low tides.
Yes, correct. So, can you say now the difference between the two? Okay. So the estuary, both water, fresh water, salt water, river, ocean. But in intertidal zone, land, ocean. Okay, that's the characteristic. And that's the only thing that we can actually, need to remember in this discussion. But, sabi ko nga, hindi lang siya nag-e-end doon. We need to look for why it is very distinct. Why we need to study estuary intertidal zone. So, one of that is to look for the animals and plants that are living there para makita natin how rich the place is. And same way the intertidal zone. And para matulungan tayo, class, it will help us sa magiging lesson natin next week, week number 8, how to protect. Kasi we know that there are living organisms there are, plants and animals there. So how we're going to protect us, responsible citizen of our country, or as we really love to take care of our environment or nature. Okay? So, there are several animals. May magugulat kayo, class, most especially sa estuaries, you will be surprised na ang ganito pala kadami yung animals na nakatira dito. Okay? You will be surprised. Also in intertidal zone. Kasi we thought na these animals are living somewhere, pero they are really living pala in the estuary or intertidal zone. Okay. Some more description about the intertidal zone. Yes, Abam. Mabuti pa si Abam, uuwian naman ni Mami Pet ng ano ba 'yon? Ano ba 'yung sabi kanina?
Carbonara.
Oo.
Sir, ano po ulit question niya? Naging po kasi yung voice niya.
Okay, so what can you say about the intertidal zone? Describe intertidal zone.
For me, it's a bit scary. For me, it's a bit scary po.
Oh, a bit scary because of the high tide and low tide. Or
Yes po.
Yes. Kasi nga, it was compared to a washing machine. So, ganun siya. Yung ano ng water. Kung paano nakikita nyo, class, na umiikot yung tubig sa washing machine. Same with what is happening in intertidal zone. Okay? That is why, yan. Actually, this is one of the tourist spots in our country, yung mga intertidal zone. Kasi nga, there are oceans na sobrang lalaki ng waves, and when they are like hitting the land area, nagkukos siya ng parang, alam niyo yun, yung parang adventure. Most especially those people who really love adventure at gusto nila ng mga extreme adventure. Yung pag tinangay sila ng tubig, okay lang. They can survive. But for us, we need to take care of ourselves, especially when we are visiting the intertidal zone. Okay. So do you think animals and plants are experiencing challenges living in intertidal zone? Do you think? Yes. Very good. They are really experiencing challenges. Why? How they actually adjust to that challenges? Do you think yung mga animals, how they adjust to the challenges? Anyone? Kasi there are challenges. There are several challenges in intertidal zone. How they are adjusting or adapting to that. Na-mention ko na yung iba kanina during the discussion. What can you see, what can you observe sa mga action ng animals living in intertidal zone? Anyone? Yes. Sige, raise your hand if you want to answer. Si Abon parang lagi naka-raise ng hand. Tama ba? Yes, Amer. How they adapt to the challenges?
They find ways to protect themselves from the dangers of the waters.
Yes. Example. Correct. That is correct. They are looking for ways to, you know, what are those example of how they are escaping dangers? Yes, Mia.
Crabs.
Yeah, just like crabs. What can we observe when it comes to their, actions during the time na the waves are hitting the land or their home or the intertidal zone? What are they doing? They are what? They are, yes, Aliyah. They are what? Yes. Um Ayan. Carl, wala, nag-left si Carl, nag-leave na naman si Carl. I'll go Aliyah. How about Miel? How do you adapt to challenges? Animals and animals muna. How do you adapt to challenges in intertidal zone? Kasi it's challenging to live there. Sabi nga ni it's a bit scary. Because it is like compared to a washing machine, the waves are very strong. But how animals adapt or survive there? They are what? Okay. Yes. Jaisley, go.
Tideful animals and plants are well adapted to the intertidal zone. Some adaptations include the ochre sea star can tolerate longer time period exposed to air than many other sea stars. Some abalones, limpets, and turban snails can smell approaching ochre stars and will move away to avoid being eaten.
All right. So that is one adaptation. There are animals actually that they can survive even during wet time. They can be exposed. Di ba kasi mga marine animals sila, so baka iniisip nyo, they can only live since they are marine animals, sa tubig lang sila titira. But there are animals that are like, they are okay even they are exposed kahit dry yung area. Kasi 'di ba, sabi niyo nga kanina, one of the descriptions are sometimes intertidal zone are dry, sometimes wet. Okay? And there are also adaptation where they can avoid, other predators to, you know, protecting themselves para hindi sila makain. Yes. Yes, Roshena.
Inter in Internal animals reproduce rapidly, so they constantly compete for space, light, and food.
Yes. So reproducing rapidly, it helps. Yung pag-reproduce na mabilis. Kasi di ba, there are animals that can reproduce fast or quick. Just like other animals living in intertidal zone. That is why, ito yung pina-assignment ko para class makita nyo what are those animals that can actually adapt to that one. Para hindi dumami yung kanilang population in intertidal zone. And even some of them are like being eaten by other animals, they can still what? Grow and survive and reproduce and have numerous population, okay, present in intertidal zone. And yung one example that I gave a while ago is yung hiding themselves saan? Hiding themselves in holes or, cracks. They're looking for cracks. Nakita na ng mga animals na padating na yung waves. They are really running fast. Can you imagine that? Why? They are trying. Hindi naman pala sila tumatakbo, no? Kasi di naman land area. I mean, they are like escaping so fast and looking for some holes and cracks, and they're trying to hide themselves. Okay? Because if they will not, they will be definitely what? Ni-splash sila ng water and they can survive, but it's not good. Kasi it's a strong waves. And definitely tayo nga eh. Pag na-experience natin toss ng waves, it's not easy. Okay? Similar to these animals living in intertidal zone. Okay, some more? Any questions regarding the, yes, Amer?
Sir, ilalagay ko po yung mga
Question, Amer?
assignments po sa GC.
Yes. Okay, but then why some of you are like hindi na kakapagpasa agad ng output? I mean, there are times na very late. O dahil ba na-disconnect, hindi napakinggan yung lesson, you need to really listen to the lesson first or to watch the video lesson first. Siguro ganun. So, sige, ilalagay ko na lang yung video lessons para mabalikan. But then, please submit immediately those requirements kasi that is part of, the grading system. Now, other questions aside from that?
None.
None so far? Okay. So,
Sir,
take note. Yes,
Sir.
Mia.
kailan pa yung
Yes.
deadline?
Until 3 na ba ngayon? 3 na pala, no? So, until 5. Para may 2 hours kayo to finish that one. Para makapag-research kayo ng madami at makabasa rin kayo ng other, kasi may isasend din akong video class sa inyong group chat na pwede nyo mapanood about the estuaries and intertidal zone. Okay? And you can actually research more about this living organisms, animals that are living both estuary and intertidal zone sa Google or sa YouTube. And then mag-start na kayo mag-list ng names. There are 2 columns ha. 1 column for animals, 1 column for plants. Okay? Other question. Si Anika parang ngayon ko lang nakita na nag-open. Ayan. Other questions? None so far? Okay. So, we'll still meet tomorrow kasi we'll have... Do you have classes tomorrow? What subject? Do you have a schedule tomorrow? In EPP or
Wala
MAPE?
po ata. Di ko lang po sure.
How about in Filipino? We were able to meet yesterday?
O, hindi po. Meron pong sakit si Ma'am Lisa.
Ay, oo nga pala. She is very sick. Just like, sa lahat sila sa bahay. Parang may trangkaso. Ganun. That is why kinukumusta ko kayo class. Kasi uso pa rin ngayon due to change of weather. Okay, so that's it. We will still meet tomorrow same na lang class time, afternoon na lang. It's either 1 or 2 para sa morning ay hindi kayo masyadong nagmamadali. Kasi I believe there are some na sa morning nalilate kasi siguro yung gising din and all. But pwede ko bang ma-meet tomorrow yung ating peace education ng 9? Yes. And then magka-class tayo ng ESP at 1 or 2 p.m. ESP class at 1 or 2 p.m. Okay? Any questions? Some more? None so far? Okay. So there are, again, i-repeat ko lang yung task class, yung dalawa. Yung una is, you're going to list down examples of monocot and dicot, ha? So look for examples around you. Yan. Pwede na kayo mag-research sa online pag wala kayong halaman sa bahay. Na kasi hindi nyo naman
Sir,
makikita.
lahat po ng halaman sa amin namamatay.
Pwede kayo mag-research what are those plants na considered as monocots or dicots. Pero kung kakain nyo mag-explore, mas maganda yung class, mas matututo kayo kasi i-examine nyo mismo yung flower ng plants. Kapag, ano nga tawag natin? Ano nga siya, monocot or dicot? Kapag multiples of 3. Yung flowers niya. Yung petals ng flowers. Yes, Aliyah.
Monocot.
Okay. So titignan nyo yung flowers ng plants nyo. Pag ganon, multiple cells are monocot. If not, 4 or 5, that is dicot. And then yung kanyang leaves, basta pahaba, that's monocot. Pero if it is net-like, okay, that is dicot. Okay? So that's it for today. See you next time, class, for another, discussion about our ecosystem, especially next meeting, kasi we'll have protecting our estuaries and intertidal zone. Kahit wala naman tayo nun dito sa atin. Kasi wala tayong ocean dito, nearby. Okay, but still, we will study how to protect. Okay, see you class next time. Keep safe and God bless you.
Thank you po, sir. Bye po.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay, I'll send class I'll send the video now yung about estuary and intertidal zone. Please watch.
Opo, sir. Thank you po. Bye-bye po.
Bye, sir.